What up, y'all? It's VOLTIC from Agony, and today I'm gonna be showing y'all some mixing techniques. These are some tips and tricks. This is very vital, so this is very important for producers, so make sure you watch till the end. You need to watch till the end because these are very important. We're gonna go over many things, but I do want to mention that this is kind of the technical side of music producing. So whether you're starting out or whether you've been making beats for quite some time now, assuming that maybe if you're newer you would be watching some mixing tips and tricks, this video is right for you. This is literally the video for mixing. I've been producing for 5+ years and mixing is important, let me tell you. So we're gonna go over some key factors. Number one is EQ. So this is if you have a DAW, I'm almost certain that you have a parametric, not just parametric, but just an EQ looking like this kind of over here, something similar to this. And what is an EQ, first of all? Well, the EQ is basically just you're messing with frequencies. You can cut frequencies. This is like the backbone of a lot of things. So for frequency response, I would say these are actually very important for frequency sounds. So what I like to do is I kind of like to name these based off of vowel sounds, A, E, I, O, U. Just kind of like this how they sound, kind of. It's just better for my head, and maybe it'd be better for y'all's too. I'm actually gonna go over that and show you what the hell I'm talking about. Let's go over to this loop right here. Shout out to the homie teacher. See how it's like it's A, E, I, O. Like this would be the O. Like I may be sounding like a crazy ass, but I swear this helps my brain and determine what frequency should be where and what frequency shouldn't be there. So yeah, like for this loop, honestly what I did is I took this EQ right here and boosted a little bit of the 1K, just a little bit. Felt like it needed it. As you can see in the graph, there's not really much there. It's just kind of like huge treble, and then like just not too much in the high frequency, so I just kind of boosted this. Also took out some gross frequencies here, and then EQ to cut the lows, of course, to have room for your bass because you want separate. Teacher actually, he added a bass here, a very subtle sub, and I just didn't want that there because I already had a 808. So yeah, and then you can get really intricate with EQing. You can do one of these joints. Like that's not a good frequency. So take one of those, kind of just gain it down a little bit. So you can get really intricate with that, but it's finding those vowel sounds. I'm actually gonna pinpoint those vowel sounds, see what the hell I'm talking about. O, A, E. See, it's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of hear the vowel sound in this. That's all it really is, frequency. The vowel sound, it's tough to explain, but that was just my explanation on that. Number two is leveling. So this is also pretty important. It's just vital for beat making and just any song you're creating. It doesn't matter if it's a beat or if it's like a rock song or anything. You want stuff to be level. How are you going to do that? Well, first of all, it's all by ear. What sounds do you want to hit? What sounds do you not want to hit? This is just kind of important in terms of hearing what you want to hit more. So let's take a listen. Now, there's not really too much problem. I think I can turn this down a little bit, and I can turn the clap down a little bit. To be fair, there's no clipping, no distortion. This is very mellow track, very chill. That's kind of what I was going for. So there's not really much like distortion, saturation going on. There's no bad frequencies. This is honestly mixed pretty well. And I'll get into clipping later. As of now, I just want to talk about leveling and leveling certain sounds. So let's start out with just the drums. I'm going to take away the levels on all the drums, and then we're going to actually level them together so you have a better understanding of what the hell is going on. I'm just taking the drums, and I have everything on the same level. What can you already hear? Well, I can already hear that this clap is just piercing my damn ears. So we're going to keep it in the 3 to 6. So kick, is clipping. So we are going to take this down a notch, maybe to 3. Oh yeah, in between 3, I like. This rim is just a little loud. This little stereo snare I got going on is a little loud as well, so I'm gonna turn this down. Rim's a little loud. And then we're gonna mess with this hi-hat. Honestly, not too loud. I don't think it's just bad leveling, like loud wise, just a little dominant. The frequencies are just high frequencies, so it's not like it's loud, it's just it has a lot of a certain frequency. The level can be low, but it's still, there's a lot of that frequency, you know, so we're gonna just turn it down just a little bit. There's just a lot of a certain frequency, not that it's loud, it's just that that frequency is overpowering. So if you want to take out that frequency, or even just turn the sound down in itself for that frequency to hit just a little cleaner, then you can do so. Next will be this 808. Okay, so stay tuned for sidechaining. I'm going to go over sidechaining 808, so make sure you watch until then. I'll go in depth into sidechain very soon. My next one is kind of going in terms of leveling, but this is number 3, lower to louder. What I like to do is make my sound low at first and then make them louder. So holding shift and control on FL Studio, go on your mixer and click all of what you want. So let's just do all the drums and let's just lower them all. Now check this out. As you can see, it kept our leveling, but it's still moving each and every one of them, which is really neat, even if we put them down. So yeah, so lower to louder. Let's see how this sounds. So as you can see, we were down, like leveling wise. We had everything low, and then we kind of just boost everything up one by one, and you get more accurate representation because your ears are a lot more relaxed. So you're not really wanting a certain frequency. You know, I've had that in the past where like my stuff was really loud, and so I'm just really wanting like really weird frequencies, and it's hard to explain, but yeah, it messes with your ears. All I'm saying. So lower to louder, always better. Ear training, taking care of your ears. Producers, a lot of producers don't do that. Whenever they just clip on every track and they're just destroying their ears with the amount of high frequencies in some of their tracks. And save your ears, honestly. Lower the volume. It's very bad for ears. You're going to thank me later when you're 60, 70. You're going to have ear problems, I swear. You know, every athlete has back pains or whatever. Well, every producer is going to have ear pains with the amount of frequencies that they're going to be dealing with. So you're going to be dealing with a lot of sounds. Save them ears. Okay, eardrums are going to be vital when you're older. Number 4, you don't need to always master your track. I stand by this. You don't need to, honestly. As long as everything's mixed perfectly fine, you don't need to master anything. It's really just leveling. If you have your leveling down and your frequency response totally down, you should be good to go, honest. The only real reason why I think you should master your track is to make something at, say, clipping, doing correct clipping, which I'll inform you on a little later in the video, or just bass boosting, I guess, or just treble boosting, or doing any sort of EQ to the song that you want it to sound brighter or darker. That's the only thing to mastering. You don't need to master everything. And I'm gonna kind of just show you. No, VOLTIC, why the hell are you using a compressor? Dog, you are using a compressor and you're master. Like, you're wild. No, notice how I'm not doing anything. All this is really is just marking my threshold. I don't want anything to go over 0. For this track, there's nothing should be clipping, nothing should be oversaturated, overbearing, nothing should be that at all. There's no gain, there's nothing going on. There's no compression at all going on. It's honestly just to make this threshold for the track. That's really it. I could have used a limiter, but I just got a little lazy. But if you are actually using a compressor for your track, I really advise you not to. I mean, if it sounds good, sure, but it all comes down to whatever sounds good. But honestly, if you have a compressor to your track, you're gonna lose a lot of dynamics if you just throw in a compressor and just compress your track. You're not gonna get any dynamics at all. All right, number 5 I kind of talked about just briefly is frequency response. We need to go over to our master and get ourselves the Pro Q2. If you don't have this, you can use regular EQ, just one of these joints, it's fine. Actually, I'll just use this. I guess some people don't have that Pro Q2, but we're gonna look over the track. Just go to the loudest part of the track. Basically, the loudest part meaning there's like literally all the sounds are hitting. So let's just listen to it and see what frequencies are hitting what and what we need to add or remove. So as you can hear, we're not getting too much of the 10K hertz, which is good. I'm actually going to send this track to a rapper. His name's DESC. He's a really talented artist, and I actually was going to send this beat to him. What I wanted to do was make this mellow and just kind of chill. Not really too many high frequencies going on, because that's where his vocal is going to be. That's one thing. Just make sure whenever there's going to be an artist on your vocal, you want to make sure the frequencies in the beat don't clash with the vocal frequencies, because you don't want them to be super muddy. You don't want anything to be overpowering. For instance, the melody doesn't really have a lot of high frequencies. Ticha, it seems like he already EQ'd the melody a little bit. I mean, all there is little sparkles, which is kind of in the 5K hertz, 7K hertz, but there's nothing crazy. It's all treble bells. It's really nice. So looking at this, there was not really too much in the mid highs, which I did notice that. So let's see that. The only thing that's hitting the mid highs is the clap, as you can hear. So what we could do, I mean, I can just boost this a little bit, but again, you do want to leave some frequencies out for the vocal. So I'll just boost this a little bit in our melody. I just boosted that little area a little bit. It is just a little bit better. I don't want to go crazy with it, because I just don't want to go crazy too much with it. We want the vocal to kind of shine out in the high frequency area, because that's his vocal style. And then the bass, honestly, the bass is good, frequency is good, treble's really good. Mid highs, I think, could be where the vocal is. As you can see, this is literally just like over here, it says chords. So it just has a lot of room for a vocal. This is distinctly for a vocal type of beat. So it's not going to sound as full, not going to sound as there's not much going on, because honestly there's not. It's really just there's a lot going on with the hi-hat, and that's really about it. Number 6, so this is the overuse of delay and reverb. I see this a lot with EDM tracks especially, and also just other people's tracks in general. They use reverb and delay to fill up space, when in reality they don't need to necessarily. For this one, for the track I have, it's very simple, and it's literally just chords here. So to be fair, I did put reverb, just a Valhalla Supermassive, really good reverb plugin. There's not much delay. I don't need to put too much delay here, because it's just, I want it simple. But overusing delay and reverb could make your tracks sound really muddy, especially when it's not controlled reverb and it's just sticking the reverb out and there's just way too much. So be cautious of that. Number 7 is the down and dirty clipping. So I honestly don't have a problem with clipping at all. The only problem I would have with it is producers nowadays, kind of when they make beats, they just throw in a kick, totally destroys your master, and the leveling just doesn't exist. Like, they don't have any sense of how hard is that actually hitting. Sometimes producers would just have it clip and short. It's good to go in the red sometime, but you want to have it controlled. Very controlled, with all respects. Honestly, I'm here to tell you all this. So for clipping, let's see, I'm going to show you this track with clipping and what the leveling is with clipping. Now, it does sound good, don't get me wrong. Like, it honestly, it sounds really good with the kick hitting through that mix. But here's the thing, you don't actually know how loud that is. If you put this into professional studio speakers or car stereo or even at a set, none of them are clipping at all. Notice how all it is just saturation. Bass is really what makes stuff punchy. If you go to a concert, the mix that they have is not clipping at all. It's just professionally mixed to the point where you get that punchiness and it's hype and the saturation's there. For instance, if you go to like a Uzi concert or Rolling Loud and it's you know, Trippie Redd, any of those type of concerts, you know, they have the mixes there because none of them clip. They don't want to destroy the speakers. It's all professionally done. So just keep that in mind when making beats and clipping. Clip responsibly. To be fair, if you want to clip, I can show you a way to clip on your master real quick. You can use any type of saturator plugin. You can use Blood Overdrive. If you don't have FabFilter Saturn, you can use Blood Overdrive, or you could even use Camel Crusher. Any type of saturator you have, use it, or even an overdrive. For what I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using a plugin called Chanev. It's really good for vocals. I use it for mastering my tracks when I do clipping on my master. When I want to clip and I want it to hit really hard. For this type of track, I don't want it to clip, so I'm actually going to go to another beat that I do want to clip. I'll show y'all what I'm talking about there. All right, so we in here. I use this track for, it's a Yeet type beat by the homie No Way Stone. He's actually in the collective. Shout out to the homie. I'm using his loop, and I'll show you the beat actually. So that's the beat. As you can hear, it sounds like it's clipping hard, like the 808 and the kick, but I'm gonna show you the leveling right now. As you can hear, it is at 0. There's you can see that little edge of yellow of red. That's because I was playing with the output here. Whenever I do put the drive knob up, it does seem to kind of compress. Not compress, but it does seem to kind of lower in volume. So I like to put the output up a little bit every time I put the drive knob up. So let's hear it without it, Chanev. So as you can hear, we're still getting that frequency response, but we're still getting that clipping sound in those clipping frequencies, but we're also keeping our levels fine. We're not going above 0, which is very good, which is where we want to stay at. For people who want to turn up their speakers and blast it, you can, and it won't really destroy your speakers as much as if you were clipping your kick or your 808. It's very vital. So you can use Chanev. I recommend you use it, but not a lot of people have that. By the way, this is also really a plugin for vocals, but I like to use it for clipping. See, there's like a de-esser. You can mess with EQ here. There's a lot of things. So it's a good plugin, honestly. It's a good, well-rounded plugin. So yeah, that's my take on clipping. Okay, so number 8 is my last point, and it's sidechaining. So I'm actually gonna go to the other track that we were last in, and like I said, I would show you guys the sidechaining with kick and 808. And you're probably like, okay, Voltic, what is sidechaining? Explain that. Sidechaining is basically leaving room for a sound, for another sound to, typically a kick to another sound, or another melodic sound to hit just a little bit harder. It lowers the volume of that certain sound for the kick, or it can even be another melodic sound. You know, you can get crazy with that, but I just use my sidechaining for my kick and my melody. You can also do it with your kick and 808. That's the most common. Really good for mixing as well. In mixing, you want to sidechain your 808 and your kick. So I'll show you how to do that now if you don't know. We're gonna go do this pattern, and we're going to go with our kick. So here's how it sounds without sidechaining. So you can see they're kind of clashing in frequencies. They're around the same frequencies. They're battling between the frequencies. They're kind of fighting each other on who has the lower frequency. So we're going to go to our mixer. Now, keep in mind, this is just for FL Studio. I don't know what DAW you'll be in, but just sidechaining for FL Studio is quite simple. You want to go to your kick and head over to find where your 808 is, and then go to the bottom of your 808 on this little arrow. right click it and put sidechain to this track. Now on the actual 808, you're gonna go to the 808 and you're gonna open up a fruity limiter. First you want to put the ceiling up so you don't compress it even more. You want to go to this compressor area, see where it says sidechain, and want to right click and put kick or whatever you had. So first of all, let's set the threshold a little bit low. Don't mess with the knee knob here. We want the ratio here just a little bit down. This is how much the 808 is going to lower in volume basically. So let's play it. Okay, so as you can see, here is a little visual representation of what's going on. So we have our kick hitting, and whenever the kick hits, it dips down, gives our 808 some room. Purple is the 808 sound, like kind of lowering in volume. And we can also mess with, see how it just dips down. We can mess with how sharp it dips down with this release knob here. I can show you now. So we can do it how tight we want it to do, or we can do it really, really long. But just for this track, I want to just reset it. I want to put it on the normal state because I like how it wasn't too much, but it wasn't too little. You can also mess with the ratio. It will be how much it hits. So if the ratio, copy this value because I like this type of value. If you want the ratio to hit super hard, which you can also do as well. See how it takes the whole entire 808 to a 0 volume? That's really sidechaining. You can also do this with sounds. So with a kick and then melody. We're actually going to make a separate sidechaining track. So we're going to go to a regular insert. We're going to dock it to the left, and then we're going to name it sidechain to be a little more organized. You're going to go over to your melody or whatever you want to sidechain, and then you're going to go right click on the sidechain track and put root to this track only. Then you're going to go to your sidechain, and then you're going to go to fruity balance, right click, create automation clip. As soon as you do this, and you can also make you can have it how tight you want it to do. So make sure to copy the value because it will stay at 80%. You don't want it to be here because then you're gonna make the melody louder or whatever sound louder than it actually needs to be. So make sure to paste it at 80. We're gonna a lower magnet, so a lower grid, so we have a little bit tighter. This is how kind of the ratio of how hard you want your sound to level down, how hard you want the sound to lower in volume. So yeah, I'm just going to do that for this. But even though it does work, I could do this. You could also do this for the 808, but honestly, it's just I recommend doing a limiter so you can see visually a lot better than you're kind of just guessing here from a frequency response and how loud the sound's actually going to be. But for this track, I'm not going to do melody sidechaining, but you could do it on your tracks. It may sound really dope. A lot of EDM tracks do it. Very, very popular. And yeah, it's just basic sidechaining. So yeah, that basically covers everything. Honestly, thank you for coming this far. If you're just skipping around, you can also do that as well. But thank you for staying here, coming this far in this tutorial. Quick note, No Agony sends weekly loops every Friday, and we have really talented loop makers. Like, I don't get why you wouldn't want to. So sign up for that, honestly. Loops that are just crazy good. So you need to sign up for that. So without further ado, that really wraps this up. Hopefully you found this tutorial helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments. What I should add, what I'm wrong about, just little things to add, like little tips and tricks. Help each other out. You know, No Agony is a community of growing, and not just in No Agony, just being a producer. It's just you're already in this huge bubble of producers that just want to help each other out. You know, we all want to grow. We all want to get placements. We all finna get rich. That's just what it is. Like, manifest that energy, y'all. But I love you guys. Peace out, and I'll see you whenever I see you. Maybe I'll drop another tutorial. Let me know. Please comment. We in this together. Love you guys. Peace out.